Alright, so I couldn't not. I there's no way I could avoid this. This whole topic, like this is just too big, like and too real. And out in the, it answers a lot of questions about in the desert. Like you read like previous videos that I posted, like there's about the desert and how strange it was. And I don't know if you can actually see the image yet, but eventually look up mud fossils. And this is like I just watched a freaking video on it that was posted, I think posted recently. I was just on my feed, I think. I might post the original link in the comments below. If I don't, just post a comment to remind me. So that way I'm not completely, like, you don't know where I'm searching from, where I'm coming from. But basically he says, like, this is a giant uterus of a Nephilim. Now, why am I not being able to zoom in? Why are we doing this, Google? Why now? Why now? Yeah, I totally called it. My map's completely locked up. So anyways, this is like a giant uterus right here. Like right here would be the bottom. And come up here. And the fallopian tubes out and around, and then over here where the ovaries are, and then he was pointing out the eggs and such. And if this would load in, you can actually see the cells. If you look in this area, I encourage everybody to go look over in Libya. Like go Google map Libya. And basically, or look at the video, and if I haven't posted it, put a comment. Now I can actually work the maps, and this get a little easier. And then this would be the other side, or the other, and you can see the circle in a different landmass. I'm gonna go ahead and break out my stylus here so I can point some things out. Sorry for shaking the camera, although you guys probably don't care. This is because with the title I'm probably gonna put on this is gonna be big. Like, so big. Like, this is, if this is, we're gonna have to prove this. If this guy's true, that this right here is a uterus, we need to look for a whole lot of shit that matches this being a uterus. So things fall, like when things die. If this is a Nephilim from the flood, super, super huge one, bigger than the one that left Devil's Tower. And that's actually Virginia. And seriously, like, zoom in on these areas. Let's hope I can find one. Sorry, twist and shout here. I'm going to kind of build up suspense a little bit every now and then. Oh, there it is. There's one. So this is apparently a zygote. Right here. You might play it off like this weather and this and the coincidence, and then you zoom in on this one. Let's see here. I hope this one loads in. This one's kind of blurry. Come on, load in. Oh, you gotta watch the video. Oh, there it goes. Once you see it, you can never unsee it. I mean, there they are. Like the size of these cells are so massive that you can actually see the cellular structure and the cellular makeup in here. And in the mountains, you can literally see, and I kind of lost my place here. So I'm going to back out of Libya here. But you zoom in, and you look in here long enough, and he'll show you, he'll point it right out, where you can actually see a, the egg splitting. Like, it looks just like a science class. You see the picture just taken out. So if this is the uterus, we need to find something that's big enough, or some reason to prove this. And we were scouring for a while. Like, we were looking around the maps and looking for different things. We found a bunch of different things. And right around here is kind of funny. We noticed, like, there's a lot of, in this area, there's a lot of oil and whatnot. And if this person fell face first, if this one was ass in the ground, and you rode it away for this being the uterus, then, like, cradle of life, everyone. Think about it. They were trying to tell us. They might have been. This over here, I don't know if you guys can really see that, where all the oil and everything comes from. And if you think about what would be there on a human body, what would produce all the oil? Yeah, maybe what I even thought about the world when I thought I was going to come and explain and tell everybody about the world was, this was what was right. I think I might have been really wrong. But this also, you can see the orientation here for the liver. You got to think about decay and how everything drops. You got an ocean here. but that's right where the hips would be. Now let's see here, kind of the top of the hip, where we'd have, it would have to fit in something, like you'd have to, like, oh, like maybe this, you see this mountain range here? We're getting somewhere. That's totally hip, all the way down here. There we go. Now we're starting to see this giant skeleton. Here's the uterus. Here you go, femur. Now, I went in this completely crazy. Femur? Like, completely crazy, thinking that if I believe this shit, I really went off the deep end. And you start to see, you know, the giant... every time I see this, I think of the giant naked Santa from Rick and Morty. There's a giant naked Santa, like, and then you see down here, and you got this all the way down here. Like, look at the what's really going on here. Now, what if our world's a lot bigger? What if they put a little glass case on us and suck the water out of a certain area, and the sky is blue because of oceans? We were talking about this, like how, like, what if they just went to the mountains, and this is like the peak of the mountains, like this is Mount more. I can't pull the name right now. They're just hearing about it. The mountain in the center. What if we're at the top of the mountain right now, and the flood is actually way beyond this, in a bigger scale than you actually can imagine, that we can't handle the truth? Like, look at this. When you actually look at it and see the mountain ranges and stuff, like where bone and stuff would collect, harder stuff to deteriorate. How big were these giants? Did they flee to the mountains? Then you start to look at this in this deserting area. Now, remember, things don't always fall straight. One second. Children. Ish. So, let's get rid of this. So we're kind of, you start to see the forms, and once you see this, you can't unsee this. And I'm gonna try to outline this. Like, I'm surprised I haven't found a Google Maps. Just look at this. Look at the evidence here of the giants. Like, it's either they really had fun with Photoshop when they made us our satellite images, or they didn't realize what they were uncovering. Like, look how big this is. If that's a uterus. So then let's see here. We need a backbone. We need something. Oh, wrong direction. So, what's all this over here? Look at that. Interesting, right? This got my attention. We're definitely gonna hit on that. We're not just gonna come back to that. We're hitting on that. But think of an actual human body. Apparently, these Nephilim were 200 miles tall. Now, they couldn't fit where their ceiling is at now at 70. That 73 miles is not from. That's not what our ceiling. Not with how tall they said they were. This makes sense. If that's how tall they were, if that book's literal, then being a scientist at one time and going, oh shit, everything changed on me. So, let's see here. I'm just kind of letting people, because I know some people are going to look at this and go, oh shit, this guy's just full of shit. Like, think about these guys. Flood came up and just, I can only imagine it for them. For us, it was fast. For the small people, I'm sure. But for these Nephilim, could you imagine the water, how slow it was to them to come up? Imagine filling your bathtub as a baby, and imagine filling it as an adult. It's way different. It takes forever to fill that up. But let's find the backbone of this. Like, I think you guys have already seen this. If you guys are figuring this out and how they landed and how everything kind of settled down, like, this might, like, you can see the slit here. Sorry. And then how it start to see the features start to take shape. And I noticed something about this whole mountain range here. Like, we start to look at the distance, and I'm going to orientate this a little different and make it a little easier to see. when you actually see, don't, like, people, like, land twisted and stuff or whatever. It's not like they're gonna fall and land perfectly straight. This isn't a burial. This is a murder. I, plain and simple. I mean, murder for good, murder for evil, whatever. It's a murder. But you start to look at this high area across here. Where would all your bones be if that was hip? High area, a little bit of, you know, you think about all the soft tissue going bye-bye. And then start to think of what are we at here? Why this range this way? What is this range? What is this range? Like, then you look back. If this is, isn't that, you start to see the shape. Do you see the shape? The legs, the femurs, hips, the ribs. We're up to here. This is ribs. This, what's this? Like, lung? Is that one lung? Is another lung over here? Where this one is? You see that, right? They look kind of at a slant. Like, it's kind of about the right size, huh? How about that for a mud fossil? Mm-hmm. Just look at it. I'm gonna have to get a better pointer. This is like, I came into this. Well, I'm not trying to prove something. But everybody else is. I'm showing it. So this is what I noticed. A lot of these things, and a lot of these, there's a lot more. We just begun. This just happens to be, like, you guys thought, those people in Mud Fossils thought Devil's Tower was huge. If that's a vagina, this is, look at that. What's this? How tall? Like, this lungs. Where are we at now? We got our 2 pair of lungs. 2 pair, however degraded they are and however level we are in the layering process as this is eroding down. And I mean, it's not like we have topographical. We don't know how far it's eroded. This isn't scientific. This is just like, look at this. Maybe we should investigate this a little further. And then this would be where the spinal cord is, right down that ridge. Moving over here, we're up to, this would be the neck in this area, right? So we're right in this area. Cerebellum. Cerebellum? Anyone? So that means this would be the skull in this area. And you notice that this is like somewhere in this area. It's going to be, we're looking for it, kind of. Like, what is it? Maybe with these lines off. Like, I know there's a mountain range here. And I kind of know the area. But Korea's at. Like, Korea's like, how big the skull, I guess if we look back, like, these things have the same proportions as humans. They are humans, they're just bigger. We played with the genetics. Or something. Whatever we did. So there's one leg. Now let's, trying to get a leg up on things. Pun intended. Alright, let's turn this. They landed kind of at an odd orientation here. I know you guys can't really see my pointer. It almost looks like, if it wasn't for this here, I would almost think that they landed on their side. But with this over here, I'm pretty convinced that this is a good possibility for long. You guys, like, the ribs falling down upon him, like, this area might have just cleaned up a little better. I mean, you got to think about weathering too. Weathering does happen. Erosion does happen. It's just, geology is not a real science. Sorry, guys. You're looking at the wrong rocks. This is a good candidate. The Sea of Japan, this all kind of feels skullish. Like, even look at it. Oh. Do you see what I see? It is Christmas time. It is time of the Nephilim or whatever. It's coming. Do you see what I see? It seems like at the end of these mountain ranges, there's always a valley at the top. Just wait. So this might be the top of the cranium coming around. Mouth. No, or this could be the nose. Mouth could be down here. Like, you think about how the cavities. Where's that? There's where the back end comes in. You got to think. Things don't always. This might have fell down and rolled down too. If this is the cerebellum and this is the lungs. And it could be something else that we're missing. It could be over here. It could be this, the LC. Like, oh, here we go. Look at this. Like, I'm doing this. This is me investigating with you guys. I'm not a full believer. I'm just, this is pretty fun because it matches up too well, and this is our map. Like these guys actually survey and tell us, oh, by the way, these are supposed satellite, our flat Earth satellite system. So if this is the cerebellum and this is the end, let's get a closer look on this. I think this might be the skull over here, or part, yeah. Like, look at it. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Got some highways going across. Look at that. Look at that beautiful piece of just natural mountains. What happened was tectonic plates moved around and pushed up the seas and gave us this bone-shaped mountain. It's true, believe me. See? I really hope this video comes out because I'm just looking at all these different features. Like, look at this. This is kind of segue. We're going on a fun tangent. Let me see how much time I have left. I don't know. Oh shit, we got tons of time. This might go for the full time. This might be worth it. I'm really like this whole mud fossil stuff. This kind of fits with me with my science side. Since I don't have a degree in sciences anymore, I kind of turned my back on all sciences and really had fun. I really turned my back on everything. Like, please send money. No. I mean, I need something to start I wanted to get in the flat earth, but it seems like so dead end, and this seems to kind of fit with me because it's kind of new and the evidence is there and I can do the science from home. Look at this. I'm on Google Maps. Look at this. This is But look, okay. So this is bigger picture. Looking at it more, if this is the cerebellum, you're probably guys going, you know what, that guy's looking at a way too small spot for the lungs, I think. Because if that's the size of the vagina or the uterus, this whole thing is the lung. That's all rib. So that makes more sense of, if this is the cerebellum, maybe this whole thing is actually the skull. A little deteriorated. Maybe that's the nose. Kind of a hawkish, like a bird and Cyrus type look to it. Doesn't it? Kind of a beak. Maybe this thing is a skull. So forget everything you thought you knew about everything and look at it with an open mind. What if this right here is actually a giant bird? Like Egypt, the Horus, Loth. Maybe it's Loth. Or Thoth. Sorry, my bad. Thoth. But it kind of has this bird skull type feel. This is a giant bird. I really think this is a bird. Look at the features. Look how it even comes back. Maybe these are like feathers. They probably like. I wouldn't even bet. I wouldn't. I don't even think I'd lose money. I think I will go with and figure out what all the composition. Sorry, stammering a little bit. I got a little excited. Of feathers, and I bet you these right here are like calcium and stuff. Probably a lot of limestone from just the feathers. We're living on dead, like literally, we're living on. Well, they're not. The guys studying this is saying our ancestors, but they're not really our ancestors. We're our ancestors. No, we're descendants of Noah. If you're in that correct bloodline, and it doesn't even matter. You can switch. You can come over. Just be one. I have a hard time with the Bible. But, so, this is something I was kind of noticing. This is totally, this whole thing, when you zoom out, here, let me orientate it this way, and just make you not think it's the world. See if you see it. Maybe those tricks will work. I don't think, also, I can explain away the curve here, why it's twisted. I think this is straight. Honestly, this line from here all the way down is straight. Curving the earth and making it into a ball like they pretend it to be makes these lines seem curved because we're not on a ball. This is actually a straight line. It's laid out flat. This orientates different. This makes sense. This is actually laying straight. A straight line all the way across. It just doesn't seem like it because of these maps. Alright, let's go to another one. You guys kind of got that. You can look at it. You got Google Maps. Everybody does. Google might be the good guy. But I can imagine this as like giants climbing on giants. Sorry, these are all my favorites. All my travels, if you can figure out where they're at. So Devil's Tower was a fun one. I'll reorientate for you guys here. Now, I don't agree with it being a tendon. And you might agree with me, you might not, but I'm gonna let you look at this. Do you know where Devil's Tower is? And the Achilles is a good. I really think. Look at this shape right here. I'll zoom in a little bit. Rapid City. You guys know it. You see the shape. You see the footprint. Footprint all the way up here. This is over where Devil's Tower is. There's another footprint that I'm going to show you that it took me a while to find because it's 2 left feet. I was looking for a right foot, but I ended up with 2 left feet. But I think this is where everything, where the foot's settled. And then we come into Devil's Tower. You see where it's at. Right here, I don't, unless this is just what's left of that part of the, like, that doesn't, this small little tower over here is not the Achilles. Not by any means. Like, if that right there, you are so wrong. This is not a tendon, unless if it's a small, tiny tendon in the part of the foot. You need to zoom out, dude. Look at this thing. It's a footprint. It's a giant footprint. If that's the Achilles tendon of this footprint, I am not even done zooming out. You forgot how big this was already. When I zoomed in, you're like, oh, when I actually zoom into how small, now you think about how insignificant. Insignificant. You couldn't even find Devil's Tower from that little zoom in I did. How insignificant. See the big toe? See how the land settled? Our skin is very, very fertile. That's why all these trees are growing in certain areas. We bring life to us. This you see it. Once you see it and you can't unsee it. I can't unsee this. I can't unsee a lot. I can't unsee the ropes and space videos and stuff. And I'm gonna go ahead and just go full on this. I guess if I ever wanted to delete channels or videos, I can. If I go too crazy, but I won't. This is my actual name too. So I mean, I've kind of given up. I'm protected by God. Fuck all you guys who don't give a shit. All you naysayers. I couldn't even find Devil's Tower trying to zoom in there. Like, that's how insignificant it is compared to the size of the fucking footprint. Look at that. That's a fucking footprint. That's a footprint. It's a raised footprint from everything decaying down. It's all high ground. I just drove through there. Here's where I'm at, by the way. Should I have turned my location off? Well, find me. But we'll look at that one here in a second. So I've been noticing something that, so if this is a footprint, I found the other footprint over here in Oregon. Like, I'm in Oregon right now. I'm over in Portland. Hanging out in the 33rd state. Okay. This might be Devil Tower's mother or sister or something. Because when we zoom out, it starts looking for Bigfoot in the forest of Oregon. I found 2 left feet. You can even zoom in. You kind of see the features of the toenail. You see it? You kind of see where the calcium settled. It made its own little raised area. You'll see it with all the little toes. There's a little calcium. It's probably just all calcium over here, and that's probably why a lot of these areas have certain weathers and how they are. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is a giant fucking footprint. Like, my apologies for anybody who's too sensitive and thinks fuck's a bad word. Thinks that's swearing. Okay, you gotta think about it. What are the Blue Mountains? What's this? So that's a footprint. Hey, the crazy eyes were meant for that. If this is a footprint, what are those? starts to make sense. Where your heel, the ball on the inside of the heel, how it's, I mean, stuff will still erode. It's been a couple thousand years, but it's kind of fits in with right where it should be. That's the sick part. That's the sick part. If this is a foot, a raised foot, this is all high grounds. You go downhill here, and then you go kind of uphill over here. But this is, you come in here, you're uphill, 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 and then downhill, downhill, downhill. I know that because I drive 84 all the time. This is all high ground. All through here is all high ground. This is a Nephilim foot. Decayed Nephilim foot that turned to stone from the water in the mud, or maybe just from God's will, whatever it may be. But yeah. So now, here we go. We're back into the same thing. Now we're looking for, this is two left foot, left foot. Look at the size difference. The size of Devil's Tower one, the size of the one in Oregon. You're looking for Bigfoot in Oregon? You found them. This is the Bigfoot. And we'll get back to California. That's another one I want to look at. I'm not really investigated this. Like, this is just going to be nothing about, I'm not going to go into any actual evidence to go in, like, people going in or show you other people's pictures or other people's content for this stuff and back everything up. You can go do your own, look up mud fossils. I wish I could remember. Age of Disclosure is a good one. I'll name drop on a few of these. Oh, there's one girl that's just freaking amazing in some of the stuff. I mean, unfortunately, I wish she would do more content, more investigation like this. I think she'd do an amazing job. Like, you don't need the color. Oh, here we go. I think we found something. Like, I didn't notice this before. Well, actually, no, we did notice this one. You see the tailbone? Mm-hmm. 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 See the hip? We're looking for evidence. The evidence is right here. All you have to do is open your map program. I tell people to look at the sky. Go look at the sun. Go look at the stars. Go look at the clouds. Are they chemtrailing? No, of course not. Those streams are supposed to be out there. Go look, investigate, do your own shit. Don't take another person's word. Don't even take my fucking word for it. Go investigate this. That means we're gonna have to find lakes. Alright, this is what I've been doing all day. I'm holding this phone and I really wearing my arm out here a little bit. Let me go ahead and readjust and get Buddha soak it. Not like it's my Buddha's a good teacher. So we're looking for giant legs coming out here. Kind of see. I can understand this actually. The high stuff will erode first and erode down, bring bone. Like if this is the femur right here, the soft tissues on the middle of the bone that create the red blood cells. I mean, I bet you this. I was about to say, I bet you this area is really rich in oil. I bet you the other femur is really rich in oil too. Let's see, there's Colorado. So there's something else. There's another one. They landed on top of each other. There's a smaller one over here, and we'll probably get into that. Like they landed on top of each other. So the other leg, like I did notice that one. So you kind of see the straightness here, like the two ridges, and you can kind of see them. This is the knees right in here, but then you got some other shit on top. Like this is shit on top. Alright, don't worry about Colorado Rockies right now. So let's just pretend like that's just a tree fell on them or whatever. Let's just pretend like we don't see what we see there if you're already seeing what I see. Do you see what I see? Sorry. What's going on over here in this area? Because I think in the femur there'd be lines of iron. Makes sense to me. Gold. Now gold in New Mexico, that kind of catches my attention, but that might be more of this one. So this femur has to be, like, you can kind of see it. Like you see the hip. You see where it might be. Like, how big does this thing have to be? Like, there's this here and this here. Like, is that the bone? Is that the bone and goes in the socket here? And this is where the bone is? Going across Nebraska? Missouri? Kind of have to think outside the box. Like, when would the knee actually hit? Like, it's hard to negotiate proportions on this because I might be off. I mean, I'm hoping other people are looking at this very critically and watching this and making their own videos to help out. I don't mind being wrong as long as someone tries to help everybody be right. So, okay, what if it's kind of, well, look, this shape of the map isn't the real shape. cat wants back in. I'm not gonna let her. So, try not to lose my orientation. There's the hip. There's the other one. Oop. Yep, that's weed. That's not. Get off there. Yeah. Little free advertisement for them. There are nice people there. That's why they're favorited on here, by the way. And then you got Florida. Like, this makes more sense. Look at it. Starting to make sense now. That means we got another leg. Like, this thing's huge. Maybe not that. Maybe it's not Florida. Maybe there's something else going on here. Something going on. Like, this is bigger. This hip does not go to this foot. Like, seriously. The one that you guys think devil was this one? You're greatly mistaken. You think this one was the devil? I don't think this one, or Kronos, I don't think this one could fill the shoes of what this skeleton is, this hip here. That they fell on top of each other. These guys were trying for high ground. They were drowning. The knee should be somewhere around here. If just kind of trying to orientate, somewhere down here. Should be a kneecap. It should be like really hard ground. Now, if you live in this area, like if anybody even like Kentucky, Tennessee, that looks like a good candidate right there. That looks like an almost really rough. I just drove through there last year. Yeah, I travel everywhere. I love traveling. I won't give it up. This looks like something else. I think there's too much shit that fell on top of each other. Like, there's something else I want to look at there sometime. I don't think I'm going to do it in this one. Sorry, I'm not going to segue too much out of this one. So, Devil's Tower. Okay, let's go to these smaller ones. I think they kind of crawled on top of each other, and I've been noticing a trend in these mountain ranges. And you can kind of see it. And you can see it even when you zoom out. I wonder, looking at, I've never done, this is, sorry, let me get orientated here. I never thought about doing this one for South America. Like, I noticed at the end of mountain ranges, I'll show you here. Maybe I have to zoom in more on that one. But at the head end of a lot of these mountain ranges are valleys. And I think that's where the skull is. You got to think about soft tissue eroding out first in the top. Like, I think these are skeletons. I think these right here are their spinal cords that for smaller or different creatures, or like, you kind of see that shape. This almost looks more like a lizard. Like, you can kind of see the head here. Like, we're not just looking for giant humans. We're looking for giant anything. We're looking for, we know they're all our size too, but let's find giants. Why? Well, let's find something good. And I thought I was crazy before. Something weird. And so a lot of gold and silver comes from Nevada. And from what I can tell is like all the land that we're on, there's a reason why they call it motherfucking Earth. I'm not gonna get into some caves, but this is an interesting one. We're gonna do California together because I haven't really looked at this one. Something's funky here. I mean, well, let's see here. You know what? I'm not gonna do California yet. We're gonna come back to that one. Also our Earth. This explains our earthquakes. The decay. There's not gonna be no massive explosion. Not unless the stomach's gonna go off over here. Like, maybe, I guess. So we gotta look for a spinal cord. I'm not gonna give this up with this. We get hips and legs and try to find feet. And I'm not gonna give up and go, oh, let's go to California and let's go look at this. We got this foot here. Alright. Cats. Alright, so if this is true, I'm gonna set up my phone here so I can relax my. Really? Say hi to everybody, Princess. This is the reason why we call her Princess. Freaking. Actually, I'm just gonna hold it. I like it better like this. You guys see my talking head. So we already know. We already went over the other one. I'm not gonna, like, this would be the, and then you're gonna have to adjust for, not everything's gonna fall, decay the same. Like, this looks like we're still in the same creature, right? All the way up into here. Now we're looking for a circular valley at the top, just like we did over there in Asia. And it almost feels like right here, like, see this shape? Saw it in Asia. Big valleys. And down here, like, if you think about how the organs, like, which side would be the liver? This looks like kidney almost, like, and a little curve, probably from the curve of the earth. This little line kind of intrigues me, where the water's at. And it's almost like the crease down the back, and then everything kind of settled in, and water flowed and made the line. But it's probably started from the creases in the, and then we got this up here. Like, how this, like, I think it's the old capillaries and stuff. How the water, like, this whole feature, and you see how all the mountains look the same. They have this kind of pattern to them. Maybe that's kind of tough for me to explain, but here's our valley, I think. This is the cranium. This is the brain of Canada here. I think that's the skull. Right in that little area. Kind of almost has a heart shape too. But I think something else is right here. Because it's got this kind of archway of mountains. So I think that might be the end of him. This is the lungs. This kind of seems where the head would kind of fall. I mean, I guess it could be this one too. I mean, if you kind of think of the proportion, this could be the head. This might be the head of someone. Actually, let's flip this bitch. I think that's exactly it. I think this is another one right here. This is a skull. This is a skull over here. The other one, like, this is a younger one. This one's on its side, it looks almost like. Now, if it's on its side, like, if this is a skull, something kind of seems a little funkier about this one. Like, how it's almost like, I know you see it, and you're trying to figure that out too. Like, it's a horn. Doesn't it look like a horn to you? It almost looks broken up here. A giant horn. Start to put things together. This is huge. If that was a Nephilim and this is a skull, and that's a giant horn, maybe there's two of them sitting on top of each other. Who knows? Who do you think this was? Maybe this is spinal cord, this is ribs here, maybe. That's what it kind of feels like. That's what it looks like the circles. Like, gotta think things will decay in weird things, like just the general shape. Like, I'm sure we can investigate this a little harder, but this definitely looks like this basin, this whole area in British Columbia, it looks like it could be lungs for this giant. But that hip doesn't look big enough if this is lungs. This hip and this, I think there's two. His mountain range is a lot bigger. I think this is one, and I think this is another one on top of this one. Like, holy shit. I didn't think it was this deep. I didn't think it was bodies on top of bodies, like the killing fields. We're sitting on top of killing fields. Like, it kind of sobers me up. I was like all excited. He saw me all smiley, but this hip here. Sorry if I'm. Let there be light. Okay, I'll stop then. I'll hold it. So, if this hip means this might be another one. Like, this might be something else. This might not be. Like, I'm just kind of, I mean, a little bit of imagination there. I'm not going to put anything past. I'm not going to But this hip, if that's a backbone and this is a head, backbone, this right here, the tail, looks too small to fit with the size of this, if this is backbone. I mean, we're just investigating this together. But I don't think this hip, unless this is just a smaller piece and there might be bigger, something going on that I'm missing. I know other people, I know you guys will know this better than me. People watching this, anybody searching mud fossil will end up knowing. If they're looking for what the research is and see what else everybody else has and what they're missing. Look at the size of this. If he didn't show me that uterus in... Oh, shut up, princess. She's glared at me. I think these are two different bodies. I think this is the tail of another one. Like, I guess just zoom out just a little bit. If I'm gonna run with this. Say this is someone's ass sitting on top of this one. And then you look at this basin and this one, and that might be another hip. Like, but I don't know, that one gets beyond my belief. Like, that's tough. I don't know if I can sell myself on that one, because that wouldn't even fit the portions. So I think I don't think it should be, if that hip's that size, I don't think it should be this. Like, I'm trying to fit this one in with this one, and I'm going to be honest with you, I can't fit that basin with this. I'm okay with it. I mean, we're trying. It's all new-ish. Yes. Like, where does this one end? I mean, maybe it is, like, right here. Maybe this is, maybe where I was going before. And but this just feels like another tail here. Like, maybe... Oh, get off my screen. My apologies. Like, I mean, this is very new. Like, I've been watching videos and for the last 2 days straight. Like, I just can't stop watching them. And I started noticing, I'm like, what about this? What about this? I don't believe in this. Like, we were checking out, like, we were going out here and checking out, and this is kind of just bonus material. Checking out the different pathways, and we're going both in the Atlantic and stuff like that. And this is all just, it looks like there's roads, but I know what this is. This is just the boat, the Google boat. They're slowly mapping this out. Those aren't roads, but there are other anomalies out there in the ocean. Like, we went out here looking for giant blood vessels, and maybe they are. But it looked like there's a bunch of roads out here as part of our investigation. But there's some fun stuff out in the ocean. Found a city out in the Bahamas type thing. This is just underwater. Not the subject. Might make a video on that one. This feels like a lizard almost. Yeah, it really does. There's the nose. There's the head. Salt Lake City. Why would it be salty? Almost like a crocodile, doesn't it? Just think, there might be layers that we don't even see. Let's go back to let's do Colorado. Like, that one kind of dead in me. I know these things are layers on top of layers. Gosh, I have like old man hair right now. Sorry, I'm a little vain. It's alright, I'll get there. So, Colorado's got me kind of... We're going on to Colorado. Like, I started to look at it and I was like, there's too many. Like, literally, there's just too many. Spinal cord. This is Rocky Mountain National Park. It's kind of like, there's one there, there's one there. Like, you have to kind of separate them. But there's something going on here. that I can't. I know there's got to be something good for us to end on here. Like, I see these. I don't want to end on having to reduce this down, not having a cool ending going, yay, look at this, guys. Like, where are we at? Ooh, not quite center. Alright. I always end up upside down. So this red caught my attention. Like quartzite. Okay, let's do this. The quartzite's kind of awesome because of all the quartz. I thought it was an explosion there that made basically the quartz in the glass. But it was a good theory, but I don't think so anymore. Of course, I just searched it. Nothing. Go here. Make it happen. There we go. So all this quartz, and I have kind of know where it's at, right here, right where this fertile area is. I noticed a lot of. Ooh, do you see what I see? I think we found something here. Way, like it has that foot shape. I see these all over the, like they're all over the world. Like that one might actually be a footprint, like an actual footprint, because it's recessed. It's not like the other ones where they're mountains. They're not foot mountains, foothills. I got it now. I got it, guys. I got it. That's funny. So, let's check out Bob. There's something to go on with Arizona, and I can't. There's something there. Maybe there's a dragon. But all the quartz on the ground over there, like I thought something happened for sure. I'm thinking all the red here. And it's really weird because if you've ever driven through that area, looking at the rocks and how they're very unique, and they're red, how they're red, almost like this. Oh, this reminds me of neurons, in a way. But I don't know. I can't sell myself on that's what that all is in there. All right, let's investigate. Like, let's go down here and lower Baja California. Let's check this out. What is this? Maybe it's another piece of that one we were looking at earlier. Like just kind of almost like a hand, right? Almost. I'm not selling me on anything yet. Let's zoom in here a little bit. My apologies. We're on uncharted territories. I want to hit California a little better, but Durango. All right, that's what I get for trying to. I don't know. Let's follow the mark. Maybe actually, let's go check out the picture real quick. We might be onto something. Maybe I just clicked on something on accident because I kind of saw something that I kind of want to see from the ground real quick. See if it loads in. See what this Google cars have made it all the way down here, guys. Isn't this awesome? Where are we again? We're in Mexico. Look at this shit. We're looking for sleeping giants now. Maybe there's smaller ones. Maybe there's a lot of smaller ones. Like the ones I'm looking for there are like super huge. Oh, we could go check out like the Three Sisters. Back out of here. That was fun. Look at this kind of pattern here. Why are you under? Why did you select that? Just stop selecting things. Oh, we're gonna close it. Whoopsie! Maps. Let's go back in here. Goofy David. No, let's just go back to where we were, please, Google. My apologies. That's kind of weird, looking out there in the ocean. Like, I think these guys were, like, piled on top of each other. Like, the small ones tried, too. I don't know how much land is actual land. I think we got something here. I noticed something, too, about the curls. Like, the backbone. Look at this. Look at this. I think we found something. I think we found that moment I was after. I mean, kind of look at the shape. Like, just keep an eye on the shape. Like, just because those mountains are snow-capped doesn't mean that means they're bone. Just pay attention to the topography. Like, those mountains were easy. Like, pay attention to the actual texture. They're not going to get as much snow down in Guatemala, but this kind of reminds me of, like, almost of a snake, but pay attention, like, maybe, so you kind of see how the mountain range goes. But I think there's something going on here with they're adjusting the Earth's curve. I'm not going to get into that. Like, to make this map look like this map, you must pretend that the Earth is a different shape. So, I'm not going to get into all that. So I think this right here, I think this is actually straight. There might be curves in here, but I think this is actually straighter. Anyways, I think this is something laying on their side. We get a little thicker, and then what's this? Alright, that's, which way do I want to go? I think this way is better. I don't know for sure what I'm seeing, but I see that curve. Like, we might, the hills might really, yeah, something's here. Something's here, but it's not as small as I thought it was. I think it's a lot bigger. So we got all this right here. Start paying attention to stuff under the water too. I think this is a big deal right here. Something like, you see this texture and how it looks like bone, like backbone, and you kind of watch for it. Like, we got erosion going on, and then it's almost like hunched. Like, there's that basin. I found one that actually had a basin. I'm actually super excited. So I think this is where the skull settled. Possibly. This might be, I think this is legs and hip, and I think that's skull. I think this is the hip here. I think this is the stomach and everything, all the soft tissue. And this is where the skull landed. Somewhere in here. Because you got this mountain range. I don't believe the ocean stuff. I really don't. I try to, but I don't believe it as much. Like, unless if it's some of the stuff, I think they just pretend. Oh yeah, it probably looks like that. It might not look like that. Maybe in a year we'll do the same search and do the same look, and it might have like a line here. But you kind of look at the texture of the coast. It's almost like there's more stuff here, like, going out, like it's spilled out, like it's already decayed down. And maybe this thing was bigger. Maybe that's just the backbone. Maybe this whole thing is actually the backbone coming up to the head. And maybe these are the legs down here. This is the hip. It actually looks a lot better. Like, if this is all the background, this is the head. And that means this could be the hips. That would explain why it's thicker and higher up. But that means we need to find legs. We need to find legs. Hello. We need to find legs. Look at them legs. Look at them legs. So if this is the hip, kind of decayed a little bit, but you can kind of see the orientation. This is one leg on top of the other leg. Like this leg is right back here. Maybe the foot's somewhere right here. And this leg. And then foot. And I've got some questions about this stuff. Like, maybe this is... It's hard to orientate this. Like, imagine that if this is the backbone. And up in here, like if this is the backbone and we got a head up here. Like if this is really as big, where is it, the head? Like right here, okay, right there's the head. Just to make sure that I'm not like going out of control. Like how, like, so, backbone, like this would be the tail. This looks like it could be leg right through here. This looks like it could be the right orientation to be legs. This could be two coming off the hip, right in here. All this. This might be a little bit of where the foot is. All the foot. This might be all foot bones and stuff over here. Kind of like, think about the bones in the foot and you start looking at some of these and how they fit together, and think about the bones in your foot. Maybe I'm not saying that's how it is, but this has opened my eyes, and if it's that easy to see, then it should be this easy to see. Alright, let's go back up here to California. I think these are good things to look at. There's something going on with California that I don't think we really crushed it yet. Something's going on with this mountain range right here. And you see this valley. I said we would come back to this in a big way. But you see, I noticed a lot of these, all these mountain ranges has the same curve. Like you'll notice that on, like unless it's either like this, pointed down, like that, but you see the same curve on a lot. Going either direction, but it's almost like it's on its side. Like if the tail goes like that, then, and you can kind of see the back, see all the pieces out here on the what would be the backbone, all those little pieces that jet out the back, where you have your back, and then you have those pieces that kind of go out. Like that's what this is. Like this right here, all these passes and stuff. That's where all the soft tissue, all the plates, or the all the disc, all through here. This is actually starting to look pretty legit. It means Death Valley would be kind of the hip area right here. And then, well, they say the blood comes out the bottom. Maybe this is the one where all this comes from. It kind of looks like it kind of, you see this line, I'm kind of wondering where the bones would be, like going through. Oh, Vegas, my home. I know there's one of my homes. I know there's some stuff out there that's some wicked shit. Concrete slabs bigger than, yeah, there's some shit going on in Vegas desert, and we're probably gonna go back there and show there, but I think this one's something on its side. Which way is it actually facing? It looks like it's facing towards the ocean. I think this is it. This actually, I think it's actually facing towards the, and it's all the stuff that sticks out towards, that means we would find ribs somewhere up here. If this was the spinal cord going down, and this is the inside, this might be the belly and stuff. Like this still might be the hips in this area. Wow, I never thought I'd, thinking about what I wanted to do when I grow up. I want to find Nephilim. Well, go out there and become a rocket engineer. Yeah, that didn't work out for me. Something's going on here. Medford, like, look at this round kind of feel. I don't know if we got up to the skull yet. I don't think we did. Not with how big the spinal cord is. This is actually, you start to see the shape. You start to see that and you know what a spinal cord looks like. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You're going to be breaking out your own map going, oh, what am I looking at? So you come up here, this will be where the shoulders and stuff. Oh, okay. Can't forget the shoulders. Lay into some Sierra Nevadas here. This is, in this area, this should be like all this coming in here. Like this, all through here is like all soft area. This would be where, if he's on his side, we gotta have ribs and lungs and stuff. Maybe, like I don't know where exactly he ends or where he should end, because it almost feels like this is where the skull comes up into. Like if this is, yeah, so this looks like this is the back. He's laying up against a bunch of other stuff over here. And then the head's over here, this way. Kind of where this all, and this is all where the soft tissue was. And this one actually ended up on the side. I think there's a lot of them throughout here. I think there's piles of them. I think you can only see the bigger ones. Like, but when you look at this, if this one looks like the same size as that one, then you have the foot, which is, might have been this one's foot, I guess. This one looks like, this one's definitely not this one's foot. This one's a small one. Devil's Tower, the one that you guys thought was a huge freaking giant. I'm gonna end on Devil's Tower because it seems like a good enough place to end. I'm gonna upload this like right away, like so you guys can start. Like this is the key. Deadwood, my ass. It's not deadwood. It's dead person. That's a foot. That's a fucking foot. Alright? I don't care if I get taken off the air. I'm trying to get the message out at this point. If you think about the bones in the feet and what this is right here, and this is some tough tissue. All this area. This isn't ribcage. Like someone thought the mountains over by Devil's Tower. Like I haven't even zoomed in enough to do the mountain range that he thought was ribcage over by Devil's Tower. That's a foot. This is all raised foot area. This is a whole, this is all like a cross section of what, this is the inside. This is what, and then you get your bones that all fell down. Like this is such a lucky find. Like it's in the shape of, okay, there we go. That's what I was after. Hopefully it's all loaded in now. So there's Devil's Tower. Hope. Did I do this right? I hit the right spot? No. That looks like something else I ran into. Something intrigues me about this spot. I don't know why. Looks very, those people investigating this. So this right here, if that's the foot, let's go back to Devil's Tower. Like we investigated. What is this actually? Thought it was Achilles. This might be something else. Hey, look at all this rock stuff as it's falling down. How big is this thing really? Like, this thing's tiny. Tiny, tiny piece sticking out of organic flesh. That is tiny, tiny, tiny compared to the foot it's in. Like, look. Don't lose your sight. Don't lose your sight on Devil's Tower. You thought giants were big before. Can you imagine having a bad day if that landed on your house? Like, that's Devil's Tower. This is the footprint of what actually, the raised footprint, literally of a giant, of one of the biggest. And this is where his big toe was. And you can kind of see how rough it is. Like this is, you can see where the nails are. Like nail, 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 nail. Like, you can't unsee it. Maybe it is just a footprint, but And that's the mountain range, because when I close in, like, but it looks, I think, if I remember right, it's raised up. It's up higher in the ground around it. I would have, like, I mean, this is just, where's Devil's Tower? In the footprint. It's not a valley. My world's been changed. I hope everybody else is doing pretty good. Hour, that's what I was after. 108 minutes remaining. Yeah, we're all good. 23 to 6. A lot of fun stuff here. Like, just this ridgeway, like, just gonna leave on this. Like, where Devil's Tower is. This is a tiny, tiny tendon. This isn't the Achilles. This is tiny, tiny in the foot. If this is the foot that's been eroded out in the soft tissue and stuff, that's tiny. Tiny, tiny compared to the size of this guy. Alright, so I'm going to leave you guys with that. Have an amazing, blessed day or night or whatever. Peace. I mean, please share, subscribe, comment, make your own videos, do your own stuff. This is amazing to me. I mean, I'm having such a blast. Like, this has been the most amazing roller coaster of my awakening. Like, when I found out the first part and then I rolled into this, and there's just so much truth in it, and I'm like, I don't think these guys understand the sheer scope of what is going on here. When I looked at the map, when we looked at the map, and I'm like, I was like, okay, this is gonna be easy. We're gonna find that rib cage and everything, and I'll show her how it is. And because he said to look at Devil's Tower and he showed me the rib cage nearby, and then I realized that when I zoomed in, I'm like, look at it, it looks like a giant foot. It has to be the Achilles. It's gonna be right here. And I start zooming in, and I'm like, oh, but the placement, like, just being. It's just bigger than we all knew. Like, in closing here, this is bigger than... I could never fathom that the world was this. That we're literally living, harvesting we're harvesting all the oil all that oil, all the gold. That's us harvesting the organs of these Nephilim. What do you think a smart computer is? What do you think the cell phone in my hand is? What do you think that silicone actually is that's smart? They say crystals have memories. What about the crystals in the microchips? What is this? What was that name? Oh. I read something else when it was flashing through. What if our world is just literally, like, when you look at it here, you can't unsee the hip bone. They're all over. I mean, I wanted to close, but I don't feel like, please. I mean, if this is a uterus, I've been in the cave of a uterus in Oregon. But if this is actually a uterus, and this might be other pieces of other ones. These guys are all laying on top of each other. I mean, it's very sombering looking at this. Like, there's more. There's a ton more, I'm sure, laying out there. I mean, give the earth its peace, because holy wow. What? Like, I'm gonna bring you back to this mammoth. Yeah, I found a continent-long skeleton with a bird head. That's probably a bird head. All the way across. Oh, it's a girl. ISIS? I don't know. But it has that Thoth look and that uterus. So it's one of the bird people. But thank you so much. This world just seems to be fun. Kind of interesting formation there. I'm very interested to see what I can find and what other people say on this. This is a perfect time to end. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, don't, whatever, from like Richie says. Peace.